Seems we're going to be talking about some things, but the interim as we go through this, this was the NFT and smart contract show with Doc and Brent. Brent, what are we working on? What's the new name that we're going to be putting out into the world?
Are we putting it out there, or are we still planning?
We're still planning. So stay tuned. We're going through this.
Yes.
This is good because, again, you're seeing in public as we're building these things out, as we're doing these things, it's going to be some good times. So Brent's come up with some great names, and we're excited to talk about it. But, again, we're going to be talking about all these things. So,
hey, Doc, real quick, let me throw this in there. The reason we're still thinking about it is we want to know, will the community still come with this, number one? Are we easily identifiable? But then also for what we're proposing, it may be some NFT benefits to everybody who's in our ecosystem. So we're just trying to see what makes the most sense for everybody to be in a good position. So just stick to, keep visiting and stay with us. And if the name does change, make sure you come with us.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. So we're going to get right into this. Remember, if you have questions, all of those things, make sure you put it in the chat. And, of course, jump into Discord to have more of a conversation. All of that stuff is down below. So let's get right into it. We're going to be about 20, 25 minutes, and let's just dive right into it. So the first thing that we're going to be talking about, how do I say this, Brent? How do I say this thing?
Cartesi.
Artesi. Okay. So we're going to be talking about this. We'll talk about DAOs and a few things I'll talk about later. But tell me a little bit about this project and what's going on.
So with this project, actually, I'm pretty new to it. And one of our viewers brought it to me. So let me take a look. Let me pull it up in my system. All right. So the way it looks is it's a blockchain technology founded 2018. In 2018, for everybody, you're only talking 3 years ago. So different broader scope, projects evolve two-tier and versatile. So it's a layer 2 Linux infrastructure to overcome the problems of scalability, computation, and infrastructure for blockchain applications. So what we're looking at today is, was there an infrastructure issue? You know, how does Linux play into the solution? And with Cartesi being the technology or the communication piece between the Linux system and the infrastructure problems, does it really lead to scalability of computations on the blockchain? So those are some of the things we need to kind of figure out.
Okay, cool. So let's just talk about, for the audience that might not know layer 2 or anything like that. I'm going to say it, but Brent's going to probably make it a lot more smoother. So layer 2 is, say for instance, when you're buying things on Ethereum or Solana or whatever, you're on the main layer, right? So when you do transaction, whatever happens, that's on layer 1. But when you have certain things like Ethereum and you have restrictions, like you can only do 8 to 11 transactions per a second, then you have those huge gas fees. And that's where you hear gas wars and everything. Layer 2 is different because it's built on top of the layer 1. And so it can be on layer of Ethereum, on the layer of whatever. But the gas fees are almost minimal because they're doing all the transactions on layer 2, and then all the transactions will be then brought to layer 1 at a certain period of time, and then all of the transactions will be done. But the layer 2 waits until it's the possible cheapest time ever, and so it's benefiting you. But it could take a little while longer to make sure that the transaction goes through. But because you already have the record on layer 2, it's as good as done. But some people like that. Some people are against it because it's not a true level. It's not, the transactions are delayed versus the blockchain is meant to be, fast, one time, and, very transparent from one user to the next. So that's why there's some pushback on layers 2, but a lot of people use them.
Yeah, that was actually one of those moments where I have nothing to add.
Okay. Okay. Cool. This is rare. Usually I'm off on this, and
no, you were spot on. Like, it was a perfect description.
Cool. So when we're looking at this, what I'm looking at, and I'm trying to figure out, it's saying that it's layer 2. I'm trying to see, do you know, is it on Ethereum? What layer is it on? Like, is it on Solana? What network is it on for the layer 2? Do you know?
I believe it is Ethereum.
It is Ethereum?
And, for anybody who's thinking, why would I want to wait? There are certain times in a day. Some of you all who are newer to crypto may know. Some of you all who are more seasoned already are aware of this. But depending on the time of day, the amount of volume, your gas fees change. And so you want to find that gap in the system or the low point so your gas fees won't be as absorbent.
Exactly. By the way, hey, Erica, thank you so much for being here this morning. She says, good morning. Thank you so much for being here. And yes, gas fees can be expensive for sure. Just like Brent was saying, and in the chat, we're seeing this. Yeah, gas fees can get you. And just like, so like, do you know anything about Constitution DAO? Did you hear about this?
Where they're trying to buy sections of the Constitution?
Yeah. I donated to it last week. It was like within the first 3 hours, it was up on a project I donated. It was pretty interesting. But we'll talk about that in a second. Again,
But they said that their section is up to 20 million. So I don't think they're in the running.
No. Yeah, exactly. They only got, they got 24. We pulled together, it was 20 million within 72 hours, but it went above 20 million. So, but that's still a feat. 72 hours to pull 20 million together. Yeah, I think they said that's the record for at least right now for that. I'm sure it will break. The record will break in a little while, but this is interesting. Okay, so I am looking for something. I'm gonna just. Do you mind if I just read over this for a second?
Yeah, no. Let's do it.
Okay, so I'm gonna go into the docs. What I'm trying to see is, and maybe
Doc is going to the docs.
By the way, I forgot to tell you. There's a new product I just launched. It's called Docs. Actually, I had to show you this. I didn't actually think it was going to work, but it a friend of mine said to use this name a while ago, and I was like, that's a dumb name. But then people like it, and we started selling it. So it's literally all my notes of all the things that I do, and I'm just selling it off like that. So we have the Black Friday one, which is 47 on sale for 12, and they were selling really good. I was very surprised by this, but yeah, it's Stocks.
I mean, anybody should want to have that because you take detailed notes.
I tried to. So let's see. Okay, so it's a layer 2 development. Okay, scalable off-chain components, provides DApp developers with, let's see. Okay, reproducible. Okay, machines, large, scalable, variable. Okay, that's fine. Allows developers to run native code. Okay, so let me ask you this. Did you start getting into this to start where it's talking about staking, or what was your goal? Yeah, staking?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see, create a poll. Okay, delegated staking is now live. Run a node. Okay, so let's just talk about this for a second. The purpose is now, why are they having this? And I'm just assuming right here. The reason why they need you to run a node, or that's an option, is you're expanding their network for it to be decentralized. So they're rewarding you being that node for more people to link in and to stake and do all of those things. The issue, and you'll see it, and that's why they made this whole article. I'd had to read it. But when you're creating that node, you also have to do a lot more work to set up this. And it's basically like setting up a remote server for them. Mm-hmm. So the average person that just wants to invest and make money, they're probably not going to know how to do this, nor will they even want to do this. So that's why they reward when you're setting up a node for decentralized. The newsflash is, and even though crypto is decentralized, you have to hit a certain amount of people to make it decentralized. So that's why they need more people to have more nodes to make it spread out enough. So if one crashes, then the whole network can still stay.
So Doc, what's the difference between a node and a validator?
I would have to get the exact definition of a validator. I don't know. Yeah, so I would have to see, number one, the vocabulary, like overall in the ecosystem, and then are they using validator for this platform as well? So I don't know off the top. Let's see. Launch proof of stake. Okay, system bootstrap. Okay. Today we're launching staking delegation. Okay. Creating a staking pool. Any organization or individual is free to create and manage staking pools. Okay. The creation of pools can be made using the Explorer by navigating. Okay. Okay. So the pool is created. The account connected to MetaMask is signed as the pool owner, and management operations can be done using the same account. Okay. The first decision the pool owner has to make when creating a pool is choosing the commission model. Okay. So this is the thing. So, which is interesting. So, if you're doing the management, you get to decide on the pooling, what's going to happen. That's interesting. Okay. So, it rewards block producers with CTSI and requires ETH to pay for layer one transaction costs. The fees for the block production are paid by the pool manager. Users pay ETH fees to initiate staking, unstaking, withdrawal request. Okay. Okay. Cool. So right here, you're being rewarded as everyone else is doing things. So it rewards you again to set up a node and for you to manage the staking pool. Okay. All right. So I want to see pool management. Okay, after the transaction for creating a pool is processed, the pool will immediately be listed at the pools page and available for staking. The list shows basic information about each pool and a button stake to navigate to the pool page. If the current MetaMask user is also the pool owner, there will also be an edit button to navigate to the pool management page. Okay, so if I'm looking at this, the first thing I would do is I've got to set up a new MetaMask just for this pool because I don't want it to be to my normal account or whatever I'm doing with my transactions, especially when I'm doing all of this right here.
Yeah.
Okay. So the pool management allows, hire a node to represent the pool, set up an ENS name for the pool, change the commission value. Okay. That's interesting. Okay, so we got
So
this.
you can set up a pool, or you can set up a node and a pool.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. And probably, I mean, it doesn't say it. I think it would be a little bit dangerous. I mean, I guess you could double dip. I guess you could set up a node and then you would still manage the pool. I don't see any, I mean, I still have to read into this. I don't see it being a problem either way. I would probably just decide, do I have the like bandwidth and do I have the knowledge to be able to set up both? For most of the time, I'm guessing most people that are setting up nodes just want to set it and forget it. Probably right. Programmers that don't want to manage people, I would assume. And then the vice versa is the ones that are doing pool management. They don't want to do more of the technical things, but they're willing to take on the risk and do it for the pool. That's what I'm assuming. I don't see it being yet. I mean, I'm very new into this, but I don't see it, clearly saying you can't do both. But that's my assumption.
And Doc, can you scroll up a little bit? A little bit more. Right there. It says no, number 2. Instead of using Infora, what is that?
Okay, so right here, I'll give you an example. I don't know what this one is, but I know what Alchemy is. So these allow you to basically already tell the rest of the network that your smart contract is about to go on chain. So let me bring this on. I assume because they're mentioning it in the same breath, it's the same thing. So when you're doing with Alchemy, when I'm creating when I'm compiling a contract, I'm doing it in a local environment. Mm-hmm. Then I'm deploying the contract. Alchemy is a service where basically like I'm calling an Uber. I'm saying I'm here, I need a ride. Alchemy in these programs see that my hand is raised and they say, okay, we're going to go pick that thing up. Oh, you're dying over there. You all right? What's going on over there? Too much coffee? Too excited? What happened over there? As Brent is okay, we're going to go into questions for a second. Hopefully you're okay. Give me a sign if you need help. I should be calling somebody. Okay, good. I see the thumbs up. Okay. So Erica's saying, heard a billionaire bought it already. Yeah, I'm not surprised for the Constitution DAO. Let me know about that. Any NFTs on sale for Black Friday? So are NFTs or NFTs in general? So the thing is with NFTs, and when you see it in this network, there is little to no incentives for NFTs to ever go on sale. I could see like a DAO putting them on sale, like, hey, we're releasing and minting on this date. It and this is what I've seen so far. It doesn't mean it's going to change, but Web3 is very much like just transactional of if you want it, you want it. And so that level of sales on sales, it's just not in this space. And especially
it's not necessary.
That's it.
Like that's so right now, but it's just not necessary. We don't even need examples. It's just not necessary.
Yeah. Erica also thought you were laughing, not choking, but you see, this is why we check on people. Responsive nature, okay? It goes back to my lifeguarding days, all right? I check if people, sir, are you okay? All about that. All right, so if we look at that, yeah, it's just not going to be there. I would not do anything with NFTs on a Black Friday, nothing. I would be curious, now that you said it, I didn't even think about that, Erica. I would assume, I don't know what's going to happen. I would see certain celebrities, I bet, try to drop projects or do something like that. But Web3 is totally different. It's a totally different ecosystem of transactions, like Brent was saying. It's going to be interesting if anyone tries to do that. But
no, somebody's going to do it. I can tell you that. But I'll say this, Erica. The person that does it, I'll be weary of.
Yeah.
Because that's just the person trying to offload. And I would check the value in whatever it is that they're selling.
Yeah, something's not working if they're going to go that route. I mean, it's either they're going to, and again, maybe because it's very novel, it might work a couple times, but and especially like when we talked about last week, Olympus DAO, there are so many mechanics where they are incentivizing on systems and ways to make money, not by fake FOMO or things dealing with what's going on in the market with e-commerce and everything like that. Okay, so what are you thinking, Brent? Are you trying to open up or do a pool management, or what are you thinking?
So number one, just wanted to kind of see the validity of the platform.
Yeah,
and we're looking at it definitely looks like they're doing their homework and they're trying to build it in a sustainable way.
Yeah,
and I've learned this actually from you. When certain businesses put this level of complexity into the build out, they're not trying to just run away. Mm-hmm. So that was my biggest question. Does it look like they're here to stay? And now that I kind of had that answer, I do want to look deeper into the staking part of it.
Yeah. Because
these staking pools, I mean, they're producing some massive numbers. So at this point, I am very curious, does it make sense to try to create a pool, or does it make sense to be involved once a pool is set up?
Yeah. I'd be interested in that. I would probably, this is one thing too, I was hearing a podcast about this and I was like, I'm not sure if I believe that, but I the more and more I do things with Web3, I don't think that you need to pour in all of your life savings, but to understand the mechanics and go through a couple things to see what's going on, it helps you to really understand quickly. The other thing is too, they were talking about the market cap. It's interesting because different experts, they look at their market caps differently, but seeing how big their market cap, what's the difference of market cap for the last 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, looking at how it's adjusted over time and what's happening in the space, it really does give a really good indicator of what's going to happen. And and it's different than trying to catch on like a meme coin or something like that, where you're basically, it's a crapshoot. There's no way. So there's that. Okay, so I'm gonna
real quick, just for anybody who's watching this, if you can go back two things, just so you can get the market cap, it's the coin price times the number of coins in circulation. Nice. That's how they get to market cap. Just so if anybody's like, well, how do they determine market cap? That's it. It's very similar to the stock market. It's the price per share times the number of shares outstanding. For this space, it's the cost per coin times the number of coins in circulation.
Awesome. Thank you very much. That makes it super easy to understand. Mm-hmm. The other thing is too, I'm looking at active nodes. This is kind of low, but again, I would like to, and again, I'm saying that low just by looking at it. I would like to compare other projects and how many nodes are active. What's the number before it really starts getting traction? All of those things. So right here, I like that they're they're just telling me all the way across what's happening here. I like that. I can see what's happening in real time. So this is an interesting project. How did you hear about this one, Brent? You just said someone in the chat was talking about it?
Yeah, it's actually Leon. So Leon Noble, one of the co-founders of Invest in Education Academy, he hit me up. He watches, and he was saying it's an interesting piece that he was looking at. Can we dive into it a little deeper? And I was like, I'll talk to Doc about that.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I mean, I'll probably do some research on. I was looking at either creating a node or doing something with a pool. Definitely a node interests me, just because you can just have a server. You can have something local set up. I was actually going to put it in our office in Hagerstown because I didn't want to pay the electricity. I'm like, the office is already there. The electricity is already paid for. I'll just put it in the back room. So that's what I was thinking about doing, actually. So this is an interesting project. Okay, so real quick, we'll do rapid fire. Just 2 minutes left. Just something to think about. This is what me and Brent were talking about. Well, I know we'll talk about it at a later date, but this is something that I was thinking about, the NFT name and the DAO and everything like that. And the reason I bring that up is if you're looking at Friends with Benefits, you're having already, they have it shortened, FWB. Then we're looking at joining it and then holding. They have the token name pretty much the same thing, right? So they're having the close association. Now it's still different, and Olympus is a DAO, and it's not, clearly, it's one thing or another. But the thing is, it's still associating with whatever token that they're trying to do. And so the reason I brought that up was, we'll say the name in a little bit if you want to, or talk about it. But the difference is, are we really going to go with the DAO being the same name as the token? Should the DAO be different? Should the NFT be different? And does that take away from the entire brand if it's so different from each other?
Yeah. So I think the coin, if we produce a coin with this, the coins, I will follow all of them really, more so Friends with Benefits. Mm-hmm. For Olympus, I believe their coin is OHM, mm-hmm. which isn't exactly speaking to the name. But when you look at Friends with Benefits, it's just FWB.
Yeah.
And so for us, I think the initials of the name could lend itself to a coin easily. But one thing I don't know, is there a requirement with initials for coins? Like it can't be more than 4.
That's a good question. I'll have to look into that. I don't know.
Okay.
So
because if it can't be more than 4, I still have the initials that work.
Okay, cool.
And with the name, so I do think there is a certain thing with the name, and the name should kind of speak to the audience you're trying to bring in. Mm-hmm. And for what we're doing, we're going to be somewhat of mavericks in this space, just because of who we are by birth, and then looking at how we approach business. It's not going to be, so I would say OHM is very traditional. It feels traditional. You feel like you just went to a bank's website.
Yep.
But when you go to Friends with Benefits, if you scroll back, they're all
over the place.
Yeah, it's just strange. It's always changing. Yep. Immediately you go into that whole gamification. It feels more social.
Yeah.
And when you think about Friends with Benefits, you immediately think social. You don't think bank. You don't think, this institution side. And so for us, we're trying to go like crazy community retention, high retention. And so you want cult following, if you will. Mm-hmm. And so if you have cult following, it needs to be something to be cult-ish to gather around.
Yep.
And so what we've been looking at, the latest name that we have on play, and I don't think we should say it just yet, but it really lends itself to a specific group who will identify with, how with their representation within the DOA. Okay. And that's through their ticket, right? And that ticket being the NFT. And so when they get that ticket to get into that community, now comes the business. And the business is, okay, what is the business of what we're doing? And I think that's the organization of it. So by having an organized lead name that's also polarizing to a degree, right? Like when you hear it, you're either immediately like it or you're immediately like, I don't like it.
Yeah.
But those that like it are sticky. They're going to, even if they didn't know what we did, it's enough of a relation to that name in the general world to make them go, I need to go figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And then when they, I believe, when they see what our NFT/tickets look like, there's a cool factor. And then when they start to peel back the layers, they're like, these guys are crazy. Like, they are all about this NFT world. Mm-hmm. And it's like, we do it when most people are sleeping, which makes us the other thing. And so while people are sleeping and da-da-da, and also what are we going to do? We're going to bury the competition. And so, you start looking at it, I'm a huge proponent of naming ceremonies. So I throw like 20 different angles on it.
Oh, you got to go.
Yes, I do.
All right. This is good. Everyone, thank you so much for doing this. We're going to be back next week. We're going to be revealing. If you're in the Discord, we might say it there, so make sure you jump in. But again, thank you so much for watching. We're going to be talking about it more in depth. And again, thank you so much for your time, and we'll see all of you guys